Hey everyone, welcome back to the latest GoSkills Excel Challenge solution. How close did you get to solving it? Alright everyone, let's jump right into this solution for our Sales Analyst Challenge, where we use a folder full of Excel files to identify top performers, and we'll be doing it dynamically. Since we want to consolidate a bunch of Excel files into our Solution tab, let's first go to the Data tab. We'll click Get Data, From File, and From Folder. In the window that opens up, go ahead and select the folder containing all the monthly sales files in Excel format. You'll see that it connects and it shows the contents of that folder. It's 8 separate Excel files. So next we click Transform Data, and we'll open up the Power Query Editor. So first, let's rename this query to All Sales 2025. That'll be important because when we build our pivot tables, we're going to reference that. In the first column, let's click the button here to combine our files. Each Excel file contains a data set worksheet, which contains all the data that we want to combine. When we click Data Set, you'll see in the preview window what all that data looks like. And then when we click OK, Power Query brings all the data together. So I want to show you something that can be helpful. The first column shows the source name. That's the file name. And while we don't really need that, it is kind of nice to see the part of the naming convention with the month and the year. I'd like to keep that. So let me show you how we can do that pretty quickly here. Let's right-click the column and choose Split Column by Delimiter. You can see it detects the underscores that are in the file name, so let's just use that. And we end up with a bunch of extra columns. So let's select the ones we don't need, choose Remove Columns. We can also rename the first column to Dataset, so we know what that is. And lastly, let's right-click and choose Replace Values, because we can remove the file extension. So we'll find .xlsx and just replace it with nothing. So it removes it from all of those values. And now we have a part of the file name that makes it very easy for us to see where the data is originally from. And again, this is an extra step, but it's something that can help you see the source of your data, especially if you're dealing with multiple files like we are going to do. Now next, while we're here, let's fix a couple of the data types. Price should be a currency, and amount should also be a currency. And then at the end, we also ended up with some extra blank columns. We can remove those columns. Go over and hit Close and Load. Close and load the query into an existing worksheet. We'll choose the Solution worksheet, beginning at cell A1. So all our data has been loaded into the worksheet. And now we can go back to our challenge sheet and check off the first 3 parts. Now our next challenge is to start solving for these 4 pieces of data in the middle. Total sales across all periods, total sales per month, and so on. So we're going to use pivot tables to accomplish that. Let's go back to our solution sheet. Let's click in this cell over on the right, and we will insert pivot table. The table range is All Sales 2025. Now let's build this. Let's drag date to rows and amount to values. And each time we do these, we're going to need to clean it up a little bit. Let's click in the second column, go up to Pivot Table Analyze, select Entire Pivot Table, and go back up there again and select Values. This way we can format just the numbers in our pivot table. Now right-click and Format Cells. Choose Currency, and let's reduce the decimals to 0. Looks good. Now over on the right, we can unclick Days and Date. And we can also rename the columns so we know what we're looking at. And when we're done, you can see that we've got total sales amounts for each month and across all periods at the bottom. So That takes care of the first 2 boxes on the challenge. Let's go to the challenge tab and check those off. The next challenge is to find the 3 best-selling products for each month. So pretty much the same process to build this. Go back to the solution sheet, click on the right. We'll build a pivot table here. Insert, pivot table. Table range is all sales 2025 and hit OK. Remember how we formatted the values to remove the decimals before? Well, we can actually do that first before we get all the data in there. So go up to Pivot Table, Analyze, select Entire Pivot Table, and then again go up and select Values. Now right-click and Format Cells, choose Currency, and change decimals to 0. So now let's build this. Let's add months and product to rows, and then add amount to values. You can see the dollar amounts look exactly the way we like them. Let's go over to Design and change the report layout. Let's show it in tabular form. We can rename the amount so it's a little cleaner, that column header. And now right-click the filter button in the product column. Go to Value Filters and Top 10. Now, we don't have to do top 10 in order to get our top 3 products. We can go here and actually change the top 10 to a 3. When we do that, you see now we're getting the top 3 products for each month. But they're actually not in order if you look real close. And that's an easy fix. Go up to Data and then click Largest to Smallest. So that's it for that part of the challenge. Let's go back and check that one off. And the next one is what's the top 3 best-selling products overall? So this is easy enough. And again, same process. Let's go back and add another pivot table. We go to Insert, Pivot Table, All Sales 2025, hit OK. On the right, let's drag product to rows and then amount to values. We can clean up the column headers. And again, we can select the values and change the currency format. That's the same process as before. Now, let's right-click the filter button in the product column. Again, go down to Value Filters, Top 10. Change the 10 to a 3. Now we have the top 3 products. This time the numbers are in order, but remember that we're going to be adding data in the future, so things might change. Again, let's go up to Data and then sort these values largest to smallest to ensure that the numbers will display in the correct order, even if the data changes. So we've finished our pivot tables. There is an extra step you might want to take here to format your tables. Maybe add some unique qualities. You can choose a theme or different colors, make them look a little extra nice so that your worksheet will pop visually when you're looking across all the numbers. All right, now let's go back to the challenge sheet and check off that last box. And that leaves us 2 more things to do here. Our next task is to add a new month of data to the folder with an Excel file and to refresh our data right here to see if everything works and generates new numbers and results. So let's minimize Excel for a second. The first step is easy enough. Let's drag the September data file into the folder. You go inside, you'll see it's now in there. Back in Excel, let's go to the Solution tab. When we scroll down to the bottom of the data set, you can see the latest data comes from the August file. Well, if we click inside the data set, right-click, choose Refresh, watch what happens. You can now see all the September values have been added to the data set. And then when we browse over to our pivot tables, the September data has now been added. They're now part of the mix. The numbers have updated. And now our work is complete. So, we did a lot of work here in this challenge, especially with pivot tables. But the idea is that you can use an Excel file with a folder full of data. You can keep adding more data whenever you like. updating the results, and it makes your job as a sales analyst so much easier. So we hope you enjoyed this challenge. Thanks again to Ilgar for providing everything and all the steps, and we'll see you next month. So there it is. Did you get the same results? Did you use the same approach? Or did you try something different? We'd like to know. Share your take on the challenge in the comments below or join us for more discussion in our Slack channel. Link in the description. Thanks for participating, and make sure to subscribe to this channel to get an alert when the next challenge is released. We'll see you then.